And to this, France holds largest ever military drills amid bloody backdrop of Ukraine war.
Well, this is really interesting, Mike, because and we didn't mention this when you talked about the France legislative move there by the executive. Those are reserved for war powers and for states of emergency. In Israel too, those are war powers measures. What are these governments preparing for? Look at what's happening in Holland. We didn't cover it, but massive upheaval, grassroots protest, farmers taking over the highways, and the Farmers' Party just took control of the upper house in the Netherlands, the New Citizens Farmers Party. That just happened in the recent elections this week. So take a look at this. So this is a multinational interoperability drill that took place in France. Now, this is not trivial. Look at this. What are we looking at, Mike? 7,000 soldiers from NATO, from France, US, Italy, Spain, Belgium, and the United Kingdom. Okay, and what else? 2,300 vehicles deployed, 40 warplanes, 100 drones, 30 warships, and France's biggest aircraft carrier, Charles de Gaulle. So this is a major drill on French soil, simulating what we think looks like a Russian invasion or a Russian coalition invasion. Let's take a look at the areas that were involved in this. Isn't this interesting, Mike? You've got up there in the northeastern part of France and also in Brittany or around that sort of area there, and then the south of France. So these are the areas they're focusing on, and also a smaller area down by Bordeaux. So these are the areas they're focusing on here, and this is called Exercise Orion. That's the name of the drill. So let's take a closer look, though. This is interesting. British troops on the streets of France simulating with protests coming from what looks like a pro-Russian mob or protesters or pro-occupying. The idea is that we think it's Russia occupying these parts of France, and these are supporters supporting the occupation here, and these are NATO troops that are in position to deal with the unrest. So I think we have this video clip. Let's take a look. This is amazing. It's like a scene out of Children of Men, if you remember that film with Clive Owen. But go ahead and roll this.
We got to ask what's being planned here.
Yeah, we're not in on it, I guess, Mike. The public's not allowed to know what they're planning. What's NATO planning? They're prepping for a Russian coalition invasion of Europe. Are they hoping this war is going to escalate? Are they preparing for it to escalate? I don't see anybody going to the peace negotiations table at the moment, Mike. But I see these interoperability NATO drills being held simulating war in Western Europe. That should worry people.
And just to clarify, those were British troops on the streets of France?
Those are UK troops, yeah, involved in that. So that's what they're planning for. That's what they're prepping for here. Let's take a look at this. Is the plot here, a thinly veiled, this is what this report says here on RFI, a thinly veiled reference to Russia as a hostile power called Mercury, which is invaded France, a French ally named Arnland. Okay, so it could be in France, it could be somewhere else in Europe. So, but that's the simulation that they're running here. So I think that's pretty interesting. We didn't see a lot of coverage. Well, no coverage really, I think. I didn't see.
Not that I'm aware of.
Not in the UK media.
But in the meantime, also no coverage of this. So let's bring this on stream. This is Exercise Spring Resolve. And this is a large scale, what they're describing as a large scale exercise. It's been taking place over the last 2 days right across the UK to test the response of the emergency services and government to a major terrorist incident. So the Home Office planned and coordinated the National Counter-Terrorism exercise called Exercise Spring Resolve, with partners from the British Transport Police, the Metropolitan Police, North Yorkshire Police, Counter-Terrorism Policing North East, the London Fire Brigade, the London Ambulance Service, North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, and Yorkshire Ambulance Service. It was aimed to test the collective emergency services response to a series of no-notice violent attacks across multiple regions, effective multi-agency command and control arrangements to stop the attacks, save lives, and undertake effective and timely consequence management and recovery is how they're describing it. It formed part of a regular counter-terrorism testing and exercise program, but this is on a larger scale than we've seen before. Now, there was very little on the Metropolitan Police website about this. In fact, I had to go back to the Google Cache to get even this screenshot of it, because this was police use only training exercise. It was taken down off the police website again. So what did Tom Tugendhat, the security minister, have to say about this? The first duty of government is to protect the British people. Exercises like Spring Resolve are critical to ensure all agencies and departments are prepared for any type of attack. And of course, why were they doing this? Well, their claim was that it was because of criticism in Volume 2 of the Manchester Arena inquiry report. And so they felt the need to do that. So in parallel with that, then they have stood up this organization, the National Protective Security Authority. This is coming under the auspices of MI5. So this is a new body. State-sponsored attempts at stealing sensitive research and information, as well as counter-terrorism. It's all as a result of the integrated review refresh. And so a couple of days ago, the government announced the creation of the National Protective Security Authority to help organizations defend themselves against national security threats. So as I say, it is part of MI5. It's going to increase the UK's resilience to state threats as well as terrorism. And they say it's going to play an important part in strengthening our country's national security. So Tom Tugendhat took to Twitter again, saying we take the security of sensitive information incredibly seriously. Banning TikTok and government devices is proportionate and protect our data. And of course, this is one of the outcomes of all this reorientation and the integrated review and so on, because China apparently spying on everybody, of course, and so it's no longer on government devices. The question is, maybe they should worry more about WhatsApp based on recent reports than TikTok, because I wasn't aware that Matt Hancock was exposed as a result of him giving away his TikTok posts.
Or his WhatsApp post,
right? It was a
Yeah,
WhatsApp post.
That's Facebook.
Precisely.
That's Facebook. So maybe Tom Tugendhat should also be asking the question, is the NSA hoovering up all my data and reading everything and keeping it cached and the metadata? You know, the United States is basically watching, listening, and has access to pretty much everything. Didn't Tucker Carlson say they showed him his signal communications, or NSA had been taking
right.
encrypted, end-to-end encrypted signal communications? So I think, you can say the Chinese might be trying to spy via TikTok. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, how many MPs are on TikTok all day? I mean, or I guess, do you use TikTok? Do they use TikTok?
Greg Hans, I believe he said something along the lines of, I can't remember what he said, but he was basically saying, they're not getting my TikTok off me. So there are quite a few MPs using TikTok, it seems. It's pathetic.
That's more worrying than the Chinese spying.
Precisely.
Is how many MPs are spending all their time on bloody TikTok. But
anyway. Okay, well, look, let's move to